I think there are a couple of things we want to touch upon. We have this ready? The graduation song for the, since it is the graduating season, of course, blessings unto you, Most High. Since it is the season of graduations, we have the special song for the persons graduating from high school, college, what have you. So let's take a listen. All right, Brandon, there you have it. This is coming to you from Choices. Now, let me just say something about Choices. Our Choices radio program is aired every Friday evening from 7 to 8:30. It's a program geared towards inspiring young people and helping them transform their lives so that they can become the best version of themselves. Um, we want to invite as many youngsters as possible to join us on Friday evenings. The program is hosted generally by myself. We have a young lady, a young Virgin Islander who resides in Atlanta. She joins us via live stream. And we have M Love, who's on the program with me right here in the studio. And from time to time, we've had Anupta join us. I suppose for any number of circumstances beyond his control, he has not been able to join us on a regular basis as of recent times. But hopefully, he'll be coming on to join us later on. I really want to extend an invitation to the young people in the territory, particularly on the island of St. Croix, to consider tuning into the program on WSTX and taking part in the discussions. We on that program we discuss matters of concern, of relevance to the young people. We discuss relationship matters. We also share some tips with the young people in terms of, how they can establish a vision statement and a mission statement, in terms of how they can be focused on this journey here on planet Earth, so that they can make wise, prudent decisions, wise choices, if I may. That's what the program is all about. It's called Choices. And we try to make it sort of like, relevant, resonating, sorry, with the times that we're living in. Because after all, our young people, they're living in a world that's not the same as it was, say, 30, 40 years ago. It's a whole different matrix, if I may, or rather, it's a rapidly changing matrix. And so we have to be cognizant of that, and whatever initiatives we advance or advocate should take such matters into consideration. So again, if you have some young persons in your home who would like to join us on Friday evenings in a direct fashion, if I may, they can do it remotely. They can remain at home, and we can have the setup so that they would appear on live stream with us discussing the different issues. We want to invite them to join us. We're thinking about having a program in the near future where we're going to have some teachers along with students come along so that we can discuss some issues relative to school and schooling, the curriculum, faculty, the setting, um, the methodologies being employed, you know, teacher habits, teacher practices, teacher disposition, and the same for students. What's not so good that we need to bring up to a higher level? In short, we want to have high level discussions, high level conversations involving teachers and students. So we're just about making the contacts. And if there is any school teacher who would like to participate, again, you can make contact with us. If there is any, young person, a college student, a college graduate who would like to participate, you can make contact with us. Let me get some telephone numbers for you. You can reach me at 340-208-0055. And you can reach, let me get, wow, where do I have? Let me get back to that. Let me get back to that. But anyway, for now, you have my telephone number. You can reach me, 340-208-0055. And we can make arrangements so that you can appear on the program, whether through live stream or you can come to the studio, whichever way you choose to have it. So that's it for now, as far as the choice program on the evening is concerned. And we do encourage you, even if you won't be participating directly, you can call into the program. And the numbers to call in are the regular numbers of WSTX. 773-0390 and 773-0490. And of course, the area code is 340. Again, I want to welcome you to this program this morning. This is not Choices. This is Upfront with John Baptiste. But I am a host for this program as well as the one on Friday evenings. So again, welcome on board. Now, I started off by speaking about the Creator Most High, the blessings that He bestows upon us, and His goodness, and how we have to be appreciative. I do this publicly on Monday mornings, and I was about saying, when I sort of had to segue into something else, I was about saying that, public worship, public worship. I don't know what's my take on that. Expressing publicly gratitude, praise for the Creator Most High, giving Him honor and glory publicly. I find myself sometimes having to debate such a matter. I'm going to tell you why, because the Messiah, in teaching about prayer, He said, when you've entered into your closet, your secret place, you pray to the Father who sees in secret, and He's going to reward you openly, indicating to us that prayer, meditation, should be something done in confined quarters, if I may. In secret places, you don't have to pray so that everybody can hear what you have to say, can know what you're requesting. And so that has given me a bit of a pause. But then as I delve deeper into things, I realized that we ought to praise and give honor, give glory unto the Creator Most High publicly, and to thank Him. And so that's why I do that. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Yeah. I have an issue with prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we have a loving God, why do I have to ask Him for something that He knows I need
Mm-hmm.
and is a part of His plan? it seems to me that I should be concentrating on doing and living the way he wants me to live. And all the other stuff will fall into place. So even as a parent, a human, you know your child wants and needs something, but you're going to sit there and wait until they ask you for it?
No.
That seems, yeah. So I don't think I need, and in fact, again, with Jesus, when he said, gave us the food of our Father prayer, give us our daily bread, really pretty simple. Not asking for, telling he didn't tell you to ask for stuff. It seems like, again, it's an unnecessary thing. What kind of God is it that's sitting there watching you need something? You're doing what he wants you to do, living the way he wants you to live. He sees you need something, and he's going to sit there and wait for you to ask for it.
Well, can I ask you something?
What kind of God is that?
Let me see if I can try and nudge you in a direction where you may discover who the Creator is. Let's take, for example, you and your father. Your father has given you.
My what?
You and your earthly father, your daddy.
Okay.
He has given you all that you need. He supplies your needs. You don't have to ask him for anything. But then you set off to go to school, and then you run into a situation where a couple of guys bully you and even leave you with a bruise of some sort. Don't you go home to discuss that with your father and ask him if possibly?
No, because when I'm growing up, he's already taught me how to deal with people like that. By the time I got to college, I don't need anymore. He's already directed me for 16, 17 years.
So how
I didn't need anything more because he knew what I would do in advance, what I would need.
So let me ask you, how did you handle bullying? Because we're not all on the same level as far as instruction.
Well, I've been handling bullies from the time I was in elementary school, and the bullies, they have to lose something. They have to get hurt. They have to pay a price for trying to bully you. If they pay no price, then they do it whenever they feel like. If they have to pay a price, they have to think to themselves, do I want to pay that price today? And most of the time they come to the conclusion, especially with me, they come to the conclusion, no. And again, my father from before told me that, okay, so, my mother was telling me don't fight, turn the other cheek. But my father was like, look, if you think you need to fight, you fight. And that's what, so as I said, my earthly father didn't wait when I needed something. He gave it to me ahead of, he knew what I was going to need. He knew what the world was like. And he gave it to me. Much more now, a heavenly father who knows vastly more than my earthly father. He knows what I'm going to face. And that's why it's fine. He prepares me ahead of time, just like my earthly father did. I have it, but see, the thing is, when he's trying to prepare us, a lot of us think he's being mean to us. So a lot of the tribulations, a lot of the things that have happened to me along the way have prepared me for the things in the future. But I don't whine about it. I don't cry about it because I realize this is more than likely I'm learning something that I'm going to need, and that's what I'm looking at. What is it that I'm supposed to get from this experience? And there always is something. He always gives you a chance to prepare for what you're going to meet in the future. But most of us don't take that opportunity. Most of us start feeling sorry for ourselves, start crying about the situation we're in, rather than looking at what is it that he wants me to learn from this? What is it that he wants me to take away from this?
Let me share this with you, because we're different, we're unique individuals. We don't learn at the same pace. We don't have the same level of proactiveness in us. Perhaps we can, but we're not all at that level. And so we have to make up for individual differences. And let me share this with you. I was raised in a pretty decent fashion by my parents. But in my somewhere in my early 20s, I must have been around 25, 26, where I bought myself a Volkswagen, the Bugs, up here. I had it souped up and I shipped it down to St. Lucia. I went down to St. Lucia during the summer. I happened to have been at a discotheque, and the Bug was packed outside and people were there admiring it. And then I had asked a young lady to dance with me and she turned me down. I came out of the discotheque and I saw her leaning on the Bug, and I told her, listen, get off this car, it's mine. And she wouldn't move, and I pushed her off. I said, get off my car, it's mine. And she went to complain to her boyfriend, I suppose the guy was. And so now they want to fight. And they had the whole crew outside waiting for me and a couple of guys who were with me to fight us. And we couldn't get out of the disco because they were waiting to fight us. So one of my brothers went up to my home, my father's home, and actually he tried to do something stupid because he tried to reach underneath the pillow where my father kept his revolver. And then my father got up and my father asked him what's going on. So he told my father that there were some guys sort of like keeping myself and some friends in a disco. We couldn't get out. My father now gets up, gets dressed, and he goes straight to the police station to get the police. And they came over to quell the situation, and we were able to leave the place safely. Now, again, I'm saying to you that, it was foolish of me to do what I did. But once I did it and I ended up in trouble, one of my brothers could have gone to my father's house and he was actually not handling it the right way. But my father got up and the right decision was made. My father went down to the police station and the police accompanied him and they came and quelled the situation. So I'm saying to you that it is not unusual for children, even when they've grown up, to find themselves in a situation, whether it is they need a loan cosign, they need something, that they turn to parents and say, Daddy, Mommy, can you please do that for me?
Well, I've never had that situation. I've been in things, been in trouble and whatnot. In fact, in fifth grade, I slapped the principal's son.
Mm-hmm.
And my father didn't even know about it.
Mm-hmm.
The principal called me to the office. I went in, told him what happened, and walked out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was in the right. I knew, from the beginning, I lined things up that there was no way, because the principal, why slapped him? Because the principal's son was trying to fight me.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't tell me that, I wasn't supposed to slap his son.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I knew that. And why I was able to do that? Because my father prepared me way before. I saw how he dealt with things. I was around him a lot. I saw how he dealt with things successfully. I saw what worked, what didn't work. He also would tell me about things, tell me about his childhood and the things that had happened to him. So by the time things happened to me, I had already thought those things out and knew of how to successfully handle them. And that's what he taught me. He taught me that to be prepared.
And that's
and this is what God, I find in my life, God does it. He gives me the opportunity to get prepared for things that are going to happen in my future. But the question is, do I take the opportunity or do I feel sorry for myself and don't bypass the opportunity, don't gain the skill and the ability that I'm going to need? I went up to the States and I had problems with police and whatnot. Successfully handled all of them. My father didn't even know about them.
All right. Let me just.
I didn't need to, because he had already taught me how to deal with those situations, both by action and in words. So my Heavenly Father does the same and even more.
All right. Let me just say, let me preface my what I'm going to interject here by saying, yes, indeed, the Messiah says that the Heavenly Father already knows what we need. However, there will always be situations of exigency where we may need some extra help. And it's good that your case.
And he wouldn't know that. He's the Heavenly Father. My earthly father can figure this out. How in the world my Heavenly Father is not figuring that out? Not knowing what I'm going to need in the future. There's no way. So unless it's just his ego and he's waiting for me to ask, which I don't find he has an ego. What he wants us to do is live his life the way he said. Don't kill anybody if you could, if they're not trying to kill you. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Basically, the Ten Commandments.
Don't you think? Don't.
If you're living the way he wants you to live,
Uh-huh.
and he does this, he's gonna need so and so. Why wouldn't he give it to me? Why is he waiting for me to ask? He's waiting for me, the human, to figure out in the first place what I need.
So let me ask you.
Figure it out better than I can.
Let me ask you something.
A lot of I think I need, I really don't need.
Let me ask you something.
And so I just praying and asking for stuff that actually is going to get me in trouble later on down the line, and he sees it. So what is he going to do? Give it to me?
All right. Let me ask you something. And there are many cases of men who were prophets, who had a great relationship with the Creator Most High, but they did turn to Him in certain situations to ask Him whether it was for an answer to a question or assistance in some shape, form, or manner. In the case of Paul, he told Paul, "My grace is sufficient for thee." After Paul had asked him 3 times to take away a thorn in the flesh. But leaving that aside, as above, so below, as within, so without. Here on planet Earth, I have a great relationship with my wife. Yet, there are times when my wife comes to me and asks me for certain things. You would think that with that great relationship, I would know everything that she needs, etc. But still, she would ask me for certain things. Likewise, I sometimes, because we are equals in this relationship, I find myself sometimes having to ask for certain things of my wife. So,
because she's not God. She does
not
know what your needs are. So that's for human. A human, you need to let them know what you need because they can't read your mind. They're not God.
I would like to.
But we're talking about God. God knows what, and He knows even better than you what you need. As I said, a lot of times we just think we will need something, and it turns out to be bad for us. He knows better than us what we need. So I don't ask for anything from Him. I'm like, basically, thy will be done. Let the Lord pray. You know what I need better than I know what I need. So why am I asking? Half the things I would be asking Him for would be things that are going to get me in trouble.
Trust me. Now, hell is hell.
And so why is He going? And He knows better than us what we need. Why is He going to be sitting there waiting for us to ask for a bunch of things that are not good for us, and not ask for the things that we really need? Most of us don't really know what we need.
I hear you, and you know what?
And wait for us to try to figure out what we need, and then go ask Him when He knows better than us, far better than us. He knows what's going on in our body. He knows what foods we should be eating better than us.
That perspective.
So why is He waiting for us to ask for stuff that will kill us?
That perspective.
He knows what we need.
Okay.
So instead of us focusing on what we think we need, we should be focusing on trying to have better communication and to do what we know He wants us to do.
And that's a good point.
That's what we should be I'm spending our time focusing on, not focusing on what we need. He knows.
That's a good point. I still hold my position that sometimes I need to ask Him of certain things. I need to ask Him to make me like a fortified city. I need to ask Him to make me like bronze when the attackers come against me.
Well, I don't, but is that a good thing? Being bronze is a good thing?
Well, listen, as an armament against attackers, enemies, I need to be like a fortified city.
Thy will be and He figures out what it is that I need for that to occur.
All righty.
And what I try to do is stay in tune with Him, not get distracted by the world.
All right.
Not get distracted by my wants and my concerns.
You've opened up.
To concentrate on communicating well with Him.
Yeah, you've opened up.
So that I know I can figure out which direction He's trying. And He does a real good job at trying to steer us.
And
we just get distracted and then start to put our own things in place. That's where we go wrong. But in terms of what he wants, it's pretty clear. I just pay attention to what happens to me in the world, and it's pretty clear which direction he wants me to head in. And so I headed that.
Very good point that you raised. You've just opened up, I think, some folks are trying to call in, so let's hear what they've got to say.
Right. And now I got to call back later to talk about vocabulary. I think I talked with you about it a little bit on Friday, but there's some more study and other things that have been done.
All right, then. Look forward to it. Thanks much. Be blessed. Now, what has happened here? Okay, let's see. Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome.
Hi. I'm using a voice assistant to convert your voice to text and respond to you. If you want to continue, please stay on the call.
Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. Let me talk. No. Hello?
Thanks for that. You gave me a quick second to say a prayer to the Father Most High. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me ask you this, right? You know where I'm coming from?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know where I'm coming from? No.
That's why I had to say a quick prayer, because I need help from the Father.
How much God they got in this one that governs this one? How much?
There is you have the prince of the power of the air, that is Satan, and you have the ruler of the universe, that's the Most High.
Say again?
I said you have the prince of the power of the air, that is Satan, and we have the Most High, who is called sometimes in the Bible El Elyon, that is the ruler of the universe. But we do have other gods besides these two.
So, which one is more powerful?
The Creator Most High.
Okay, fine, right? The Creator, the Most High. He don't govern the Middle East. He don't govern China and Russia and things. No?
He doesn't govern those places. He does not. He has relegated that in the hands of men.
What?
He doesn't govern those places. Men govern those places.
So who don't govern the Western Hemisphere where we live in?
We got several human rulers operating. President Trump is one of them. We have a governor right here in the territory of the Virgin Islands. We have a president, I think, in Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, now fine. Now I hear everybody say, God bless this place and bless that place when they're done with the attack, right? But Mr. Baptiste, I want to know if God is seeing all them wars that we got going on, with all them bomb dropping and killing children and things. Explain that to me a little bit now.
Well, what happens is that he has given mankind dominion here on planet Earth. As such, we have respective governments that have been set up, whether you have kings and queens, presidents, governors, what have you. He does sometimes allow his angels to intervene, but most of the time he allows humans to go about running their affairs. And there will be a point of final disposition, I suppose, when he's going to deal with all the irregularities that occur. Because I believe that his desire is to have the best outcomes. But we must not forget that we live in a world of duality. If you've got good, you're going to have bad. If you have up, you're going to have down. If you have sweet, you're going to have sour. That's just the reality of this matrix.
So the Savior, he knows to save mankind as a unit. Huh?
If the Savior came to save mankind?
Yeah, to like stop things from happening to people as a unit. They got to be individual?
No, not necessarily. The Messiah came to show us how to live the best version of this life that we can live, where we would live a life abundantly, where we would be honorable in our interactions with each other, to be honest, to exercise what we refer to as the greater or the greatest virtues that we have, and to
some people all over the world, not in our Western hemisphere. That's what we believe in, right?
He came to save all of us. All over the world, he came to bring this message of peace to all of us.
Listen.
Uh-huh.
We are Christian society,
Mm-hmm.
and we believe in Jesus Christ. We say that, right?
Yes, we do say that.
No other nation does say that.
And that's their prerogative. I don't have a problem with that. That's their prerogative. If they don't want to embrace Jesus Christ.
No other nation does say that. One nation does say Allah.
Uh-huh.
The next one does say Buddha.
Uh-huh.
The next one does say
Krishna.
Yeah, and Shintoism and all them kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so these guys can't do nothing to help them if something the kids.
I don't think it should be a problem. I don't think that should be a problem simply because some believe in Buddha, others believe in Krishna, some believe in Allah. I don't think we should make that a problem.
Well, listen.
Uh-huh.
Listen to me now. How much time are we you to pray?
I usually pray about like 2 times in the evening. I'm being honest with you. I usually I say a prayer before I lay down to sleep, and then at about 2, 3 in the morning I get up to pray.
Okay, now. People who say that they believe in Islam, they don't pray far more than we.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they pray don't work.
Says who?
Huh?
Who says so?
I asked I could listen. I like to do is ask questions, you know.
No, I believe them. I believe their prayers work.
No conclusion. I might go because I will tell you I am agnostic.
Mm-hmm.
Check.
Mm-hmm. I haven't.
No conclusion. I don't ask questions.
Well, let me tell you that I have met Muslims who told me that the prayers have been answered.
So the prayers them can't stop bomb from dropping on them.
It is left to our human leaders to stop bombing each other, killing each other, creating destruction on the planet. Our human leaders are the ones responsible for that.
I left up to them.
That's right.
Okay.
Don't you think that President Trump and the President of Israel can come to an understanding that we're not gonna provoke the Iranians, we're not gonna strike them? Don't you think that the leadership in Iran can take a similar position and say it's time for us to have peace and to stop the bloodshed? Are we gonna hold back from what we've been doing? They can individually exercise their will to do that.
As far as I can turn, right?
Uh-huh.
They are just defending themselves, you know.
And that
they're just defending themselves.
Okay, okay, granted. So that if they're defending themselves, then the attackers can make a determination, a decision to say, well, we will no longer attack them. If you don't attack me, my brother, I have no reason to set up a defense, you know. I am defending because you attack me. But if you don't attack me, I don't have to defend.
You know what of the youth?
Uh-huh.
The people who said the Jews and Israelites and all kind of thing, right?
Uh-huh.
They cause most who are in the area they live in, you know. You know that, right?
You know what's my answer to that?
Listen to me.
Yeah.
They said they are God's people.
Uh-huh.
So this is the way how God lives.
Well, if you read the Bible, you will see where the Bible says that there are some who say that they are gods, that they are the people of the Most High, but they are actually the synagogue of Satan. That's written in the Bible.
That statement leaves that judgment up to we as mortals. Help me to understand that, but the guy looks like you got a better concept of the word than me.
No, I don't think so. You and I, we are both seekers trying to find the truth. You and I, we are both seekers trying to find relevance and truth in this world.
But I don't understand the whole Bible, especially the Old Testament. That's a heap of things that God, according to the Bible, now, me saying God do nothing. According to the Bible, God sanctions a lot of killing. You understand what I'm saying?
I have not made such a determination.
But wait, the simplest thing, right? The walk along the walls at Jericho and the far along and kill people. That's what God tell them to do. That's what he said. That's what the Bible said. No?
They got some instructions in terms of how they got instructions. They got instructions, yes.
Don't run away from it because that's what he said. I've been in it for 17 years of my life, you know. That's what it says. Maybe we were reading from
well, no. We're reading from the same book. If I may give you a little perspective, hold on. Okay, yes, granted. Okay, granted. Granted, my brother, granted.
Yeah.
Let me try and put this in perspective. There was a time when it was said that a man could write a bill of divorcement and give it to his wife. When the Messiah who came to show us how to live life abundantly came on earth, he said, yes, Moses indeed said so, but in the beginning, it wasn't so. It was permitted because of the hardness of your heart. So that some things are permitted in this world because of the hardness of human hearts.
But according to the Bible now, when did the Messiah come? When?
During the reign of Tiberius Caesar, I think it was, is when he came, which would have placed that around 4 BC to maybe 3 AD, somewhere around there.
So the Old Testament was a little too harsh. That's what you're telling me?
The Old Testament had some provisions in there that became sort of irrelevant.
That became what?
Irrelevant.
That's how to smooth it out. You got to put iron in board and iron, to smoothing it out. But
why are you doing that to me, my brother? I am not doing no ironing in here. I ain't got no ironing board, no iron, no nothing like this, you know.
Smoothing it out, you want to come to the reality of what is there for freedom. You want to do that. You understand?
Lord have mercy.
You come into that.
You see the reason why I said a prayer. You see how things happen. You have to take a pause to let me pray, so that I can deal with what you had to throw at me this morning. You ain't easy, you know. You ain't easy at all, you.
Listen, I have studied and I get to understand certain things. I studied things when I was young, and I used to embrace them. But now I become a big man. I find out that certain things that I have learned when I was young ain't necessarily like that. Ain't like that at all sometimes. Because the 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not kill. And a part of it, the Bible says, there is a time to kill me, and we talked about that already. But thou shalt not kill mean what? Thou shalt not kill.
Even that must be taken within a certain context, if I may, because the kill here refers to murder and not necessarily just killing, because if so, we shouldn't even kill the animals. The kill being spoken of in the Bible speaks of murder.
So that justifies killing.
Thou shalt do no murder is how it should be written.
You can't put the word. You see, that's why we have a lot of people who say they're Christian, they don't like to come wrong with no more, no. Because I either put simple things to them and they can't understand. They can't comprehend what it's saying. But it got a lot of things that we don't take for granted and ain't necessarily so to me.
Let me ask you a question. you're in your house at midnight,
Uh-huh.
and somebody is breaking into your house with a machete in their hand, looking to attack you, and you have a gun. What do? Don't you defend yourself by killing that person if you have to?
But what the Bible says? Tell me.
It says, "Thou shalt do no murder. Do not commit. Do not commit."
Thou shalt do no more than. Come on, man.
You have to go to the original to read it like that.
Come on, man.
You're reading an English version. You're reading an English version of the Bible.
What the English I don't talk?
Yeah, I understand that.
You don't talk English too?
I talk English, yes, but I also know that a lot of things that we translate, because I speak Spanish as well, I know sometimes when we translate from Spanish into English, we miss the real essence of what is being said.
But we can't miss what is not there, sir. You can't miss what is not there.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you, do you need the Bible to believe in the Creator Most High?
Huh?
Do you need the Bible to believe in the Creator Most High?
To believe in the Creator of the Most High?
Uh-huh.
To believe is to not know. And
All right, so, all right, then do you know? All right, okay, put belief
I
aside.
am agnostic because I don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
I
Okay.
don't know.
And how comes I know that the Creator is, and I know that you are?
But Mr. Baptiste,
Uh-huh.
clearly, right?
Yeah.
You don't know that if you're a human like me, you believe.
It's not a matter of belief. I know the Creator exists. Because you know why I know that? Because I didn't come here of my own volition. Somebody put me here. And whoever is responsible for ordaining me to this journey, that person is the Creator. That being is the Creator.
Anytime belief come into it, you don't know.
Ain't no belief here. I know the Creator exists. I no belief.
I don't know because I don't believe.
Well, I know the Creator exists.
I don't know.
My Creator exists. I know that.
Yeah.
Yes, because I am here.
You are here?
Yes, I am.
I am here too.
I am. And since I am, there is the sine qua non as to why I am that I am.
Mr. Baptiste, I'm going to go on.
All right.
I believe in science.
Uh-huh.
I know science. Science could show that things is true.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Science does do that.
Mm-hmm.
Come to that conclusion that thing is true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if what has happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where science ends, to me, is where belief starts. You see?
All right.
Where science ends is where belief starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something. How do you know that there is a sun, a moon, the earth, and there is interaction between them?
How do I know what?
How do you know that there is a sun, there is a moon, there is the earth, and that the moon is a satellite of the earth, and that the earth revolves around the sun whilst it spins on its axis?
I could see, sir.
You can see it.
Yeah.
And it's also been proven through scientific investigation, am I right?
There you go.
All right. So let me ask you, with all the orderliness and the precision between those bodies that we just speak about, don't you think that there must be some force or entity that has intelligently put this together?
I don't know.
All right, you don't know. Okay.
I tell you, I am not thinking, I don't ask questions to be made right.
All right.
As far as I can tell, nobody can explain to me, like a scientist, about the things that people believe.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm. So let me tell you what I'm going to try to do. During my 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock morning prayer, I'm going to ask the Creator if He can show me a way that I can impress upon you that He is.
That He is?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because I've been doing that for almost, let me see, almost 2/3 of my life. I did that for 2/3 of my life. And I see no clear evidence of that.
You know something? I will tell you something. I would like to know who your your teachers were in elementary school and junior high school and high school? Because I know some of them must have been, after you done half the day with them, so when they went home, they must have been pulling hairs and saying, man, how do I get the answers to this young man, you know?
Yeah, let me tell you something. When I went to a church school, you know.
Uh-huh.
I went to a church school from first grade all the way to 12th grade. Understand?
Uh-huh.
And the principal, when he was retired, when I was an older man, I used to work at a certain place and he come to see me.
Uh-huh.
You know why?
Tell me.
Because I used to rack his brain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I used to rack his brain.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah,
Just through the discourse we're having, I can imagine. Yeah, wow. But that's good. That's good that you go down the rabbit hole. You're seeking answers. You're seeking the truth. That's absolutely great.
I think I just want to know. People are seeing me and they tell me that behind my back that I is the worst devil in the world.
Wow.
Let us say that.
Wow.
But I don't care.
Wow.
I don't care. That's the conception of me, but I want to know what people are talking about. You understand?
Yeah.
Not just a preacher and a pulpit telling you this, and you must gobble it down like a food. I got question.
Yeah, and you have a right to. That's your prerogative. Definitely.
And the Bible said, lean not unto your own understanding. Why not say that? Why not say that? Tell me.
Because there is a higher understanding.
Yeah.
Yes.
The preacher and the pulpit.
I didn't say that.
I accent.
I have not said so. No, not in my books. Wisdom comes from the higher source.
Yeah. Well, if you say that, but when you believe, you don't know. That's all I'm telling you.
All right. Thanks for calling and sharing, my brother. Really appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Blessings. Vidal.
Yes.
You are here this morning. Good morning to you and welcome.
Pleasant good morning. Happy Paradise. Monday to all. I see you on the favorite topic, religion.
I didn't start off. I start off acknowledging the Creator Most High and
of course
expressing gratitude, but it went where it went. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, people love talking about religion.
Yeah.
You know, like he said, though, it's belief.
Yeah.
It's faith also. If you have faith in a higher power, miracles do come true. If you believe, you have to have a strong faith. I have a strong faith. Things happen. I also believe in the law of attraction. You do good, good things happen. You do bad, bad things happen.
Is that a karmic law or the law of attraction?
That's part of law of attraction, karma. Same thing.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Let's hear what this caller has to say. Hello, caller. Good morning and welcome.
Yes. You know that caller was saying, let me get it right. That how do you know there's a creator?
No, he said no. He said nah. What he said is that he's an agnostic. He doesn't.
Right, but he did ask you that.
Oh, he asked me. He asked me a series of questions. I did my best to answer at the time. You know, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Well, I believe that was one of them, and you could go back to the French philosopher Descartes, who was trying to answer the question. You know, do we exist for real, or are we just a figment of somebody's another imagination? And what he came with it is, I think, therefore I am.
I remember that.
If he has the ability to have independent thoughts, then that means that he exists and not a figment of somebody But I say a similar thing. I exist, therefore I am. Therefore, there's a creator.
And that's what I told the caller.
So something had to create me, and that is the creator. So your existence, even if you turn on your figment of somebody's imagination, so that person is the creator of you. That is your creator. So the fact that you exist is proof that there is a creator.
And essentially, that's what I told him when he asked me the question.
Right. And then the other thing, he was talking about thou shalt not murder. You have to look at where that came from. That was the Ten Commandments when they had left Egypt. So you had the Egyptian law that was governing them, keeping them in line. They're now out in the desert and apparently were acting the fool. Moses got upset and went up into the mountains and came back with the Ten Commandments. Nobody else was around. It was just them. They were out in the desert by themselves. Thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not kill each other. It wasn't talking about anybody else. It was talking about because nobody else was around. It was just them. And then you saw that they went on and killed as they went through, and supposedly God told them not to intermingle and and to do this. So it's clear that the thou shalt not kill is only applied to Jews. Thou shalt not kill each other.
That's an interesting one. Hold on. That's a very interesting one. You said it applies only to Jews?
Yes, that they shouldn't kill each other. They were out in the desert, going to the promised land. They needed each other. They knew when they got there they were going to have to deal with people, and deal with people along the way, fight wars and whatnot. So they needed a manpower. They couldn't have them killing off each other. So, and that was the only people who were around. When Moses came down with the Ten Commandments, were there any other people around besides Jews?
No, but then here it is. I understand that in the Code of Hammurabi, they also have that law contained in there that you shouldn't do murder. And there is another.
I'm not familiar with that.
Well, and again, somebody who knows may be able to call and share it with us this morning. But
does that have to do with the Jewish people, or is it?
Well, here is the thing. When you read certain books, they're telling you that the ancient Sumerians had some laws that preceded the Ten Commandments, and Hammurabi.
The Jews and the Ten Commandments. That came from Moses in the desert. Where there were only Jews present.
That one presents a little.
Now with the Ten Commandments, he wasn't given to anybody else.
Right.
He was given it to the Jewish people that were with him.
But evidently,
because they were acting the fool in the desert. They didn't have the Egyptian law there to keep them in line.
Okay,
and so they needed something, and he gave it. And so thou shalt not kill. And it's clear that it only applied to the Jews because after that they went off and killed a whole bunch of people on their way to the promised land. And so it's very clear. We may not want to accept it, but if you look at the circumstances, and the way they're behaving today and have been behaving since. They're killing all kinds of people, as your last caller has said. So that's why he has the confusion. But the key is they were talking about thou shalt not kill each other. Thou shalt not kill Jewish people.
But
it doesn't apply to killing anybody else.
But
the other thing, so we have to look at the Bible realistically. What is actually in it? The other thing, the Jewish people today. So where did the 12 tribes of Judah come from? Of Israel, sorry.
They're the sons of Jacob.
Sorry?
Sons of Jacob.
Right.
Who became Israel. Yeah, go ahead.
And how did they give? The 10 out of the 12.
Well, they had all kinds of problems, all kinds.
Exactly. They started off, they got jealous of Joseph because his father seemed to favor him, gave him the coat of many colors. When they went off to take care of the herd, they planned to kill him. And then they put him in a pit, and then a group of people, what do you call it, wanderers or whatever, nomadic people came by, and they sold him into slavery. And then it turned out that he ended up in Egypt. The people sold him in Egypt, and the dream and whatnot. He ended up becoming important in Egypt. And then that's where the 12 tribes of Judah came, 12 tribes of Israel came from. They were not good people. And then the only two people who were good was Joseph and his younger brother Benjamin.
What about
those two tribes don't exist anymore. They were absorbed eventually into the tribe of Judah. So the tribes that came from the good people are gone.
But
the 10 tribes who were planning to kill their brother out of jealousy and sold him into slavery. And he eventually ended up rescuing them when they had a famine. So I don't understand what we're expecting from the Jewish people today, the Israel, the country Israel. They are doing what they have been doing for the longest, even from their own biblical reports, because it's the Jews who wrote the Bible, right? So even if you look at what they admit to in the Bible, it's not good behavior. Yes, they have some of them, Abraham, Jacob, so Jesus. You have some of them that behave really well.
But here is the point. Here is the point I would like to impress upon all of us. You had societies governed by kings even before the Israelites became a nation. That is why when they asked the prophet to give them a king, because they wanted to be like other nations. Now, when you have a kingdom, you have a king or a queen, or possibly both of them, and you have rules and regulations. You cannot have a kingdom without a governance structure in place. So that for us to think that it's only when the 10 Commandments came down that mankind had laws given to them, that's not the case. There were laws given.
That's what I said. They were under Egyptian laws prior to that. So when you have a bunch of people, you have to have laws for people are just going to be doing what they want to do.
And the point
that's not going to end up well. I don't know what, but I would say by the time you get 20 people together, you have some rules and regulations. If you call them laws or not, there's still rules and regulations because people are going to start acting selfishly and start doing stuff to each other, and eventually people are going to be like, okay, I need to get away from these people. So if you want people to live next to each other, so that they can gain from each other's abilities. Somebody is a good chef, somebody's a good baker, somebody's a good carpenter, but they have to be somewhere close to each other for you to gain from their abilities. But if you have people close to each other, you're gonna have. By the time you get to about 20 people, you need some kind of rules, whether you call them laws or not. You need some kind of rules to regulate how they're going to interact with each other, or you're going to have chaos.
Okay, and that's important, because what I want people to understand is that even before we had the 10 Commandments, you had what we may call a body politic in different areas where people came together for the betterment of that social gathering. They had rules and regulations in place, and some of those things are contained in the 10 Commandments. Hello? Yeah.
I didn't catch you.
I was saying that, we had what you call sometimes a body politic or society that existed even before the 10 Commandments came into being. And those people had rules and regulations, and some of the rules that they had, those rules are contained within the 10 Commandments. Some, not all of it. Yeah. So that actually, when you even look at the stories in Genesis, Cain and Abel should have had some kind of knowledge of what was acceptable as opposed to what was not acceptable. if not, there is no way that you could have held the killing of Abel by Cain against Cain. He suddenly knew that he had done something wrong, something unacceptable.
Well, I mean, you can look at that. You had about 4 people, and you had issues. You need some
And I hear what you say about 4 people. I tend to not want to embrace that because clearly Cain was able to go to the land of Nod where he met his wife, and a mark was placed on him so that other people who saw him would not have, killed him or
We
taken.
don't know if that came before or after.
Clearly, when
Cain slew Abel, we know that they had to at least been 4 people. We don't. They could have been more. They could have, or it could have just been 4. But we would have to throw in our own ideas, to come up with anything other than that.
Well, again, it shows you that the Bible is not detailed in terms of presenting.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't quite meant to be that. It wasn't. It's historical, but only to the point of letting that group of people know their past, but not like detailed history as of today. We wouldn't call it historical like what we call historical pieces today.
But a lot
of stuff that's out.
But even with a cursory projection of things, when you think about 2 brothers, Cain and Abel, you hear nothing about sisters. One is killed, and then the surviving one can all of a sudden find a wife. Clearly, women were being born at some stage, and that's not being.
But the story is focused on the brothers, so they weren't really talking about anybody. So we don't really know for sure about anybody else because they were focused on just telling the story of Cain and Abel.
True.
But yeah,
but we can.
Again, if you have about 20 people, even probably less than that. Offices have rules because you're having a bunch of people in a small enclosed environment. One person's going to have one idea, another person's going to have another. How you deal with this, how you deal with that, and it ends up in chaos. So they come up with rules.
But do you realize?
Office is going to deal with things.
But do you realize? Do all of us realize that even the animals have regulations?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The lion pride have their rules and regulations. The bee communities, the ant community colonies, they have their rules and regulations. I mean,
And for the same reason, there's protection in numbers, and you could build that, gain from each other's abilities. So one of them can smell better than the other, can see better than the other. That sort of thing. So they want to be in groups. But you're gonna have contention. You're gonna have problems. The same person, 2 monkeys are gonna want the same coconut. So they're gonna have to come up with how do you decide who gets it. And so each group is gonna have to come up with rules and regulations, which is what we call our law.
So how do you explain that we as humans, we go to school to learn, or we learn from the home, and how did these animals learn the rules and regulations?
The same way with us.
Do they go to school?
They run into issues. They come up with a way to resolve them, and then it's enforced by might. You get the stronger ones to join to agree with you, and they beat the crap out of the weaker ones until they start following the rules. And when we do the same thing as humans, we try to pretend that we're higher and whatnot, but in the end, that's what force makes right. Might makes right. When the police come to lock you up, that you broke some law, they don't give. There's no logic they can give you that's going to make you want to go sit in a cell and have your and not be able to go come and please as you want. Why you go with them is because they come with a gun and baton and taser now, and if you think, okay, I could take this person, even more importantly, they come with a walkie-talkie, to call 50 other guys with guns, batons, and tasers.
So that is.
Figure, okay, I'm not going to win this, and so you go.
So in essence, that's the law.
Our laws and our society is held together not by necessarily actual violence, but by the threat of violence. That we know that if we don't submit, somewhere down the line, we're going to get our tail bust. And we decide, okay, I'm not going to go down that path. I'm going to just go ahead and follow the laws and regulations.
So is that so you call that the law of might makes right?
Basically, in a sense that you at least have to get a might to go along with your way of thinking. So it may not be their thinking, but you got the strong people in your society to go along and agree, yes, what you're thinking and what you think is the best way.
Very interesting.
Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I mean, look at like the UN. What power does the UN have besides the military of the US, Russia, all those big people in the Security Council? So people discuss things, come to agreement in the UN because they don't want one of these other Security Council showing up on their border. So they will discuss things, they will do all kinds of stuff and come to resolutions and agreements. But in the end, why are they doing it? Because they know if they don't do it with words, one of these countries are going to end up on their border and they're going to be forced into submission by might. Might always makes right, has always, will always. We can put in this society, since we don't have to do the physical violence, we have the police to do it for us, we have the army to do it for us. We tend to forget that that's what's really happening. We tend to come in our mind that, we're not, it's might doesn't
So how many gods are there? One?
Go ahead.
So only one God?
We tend to forget this, forget the reality of the world. So we are not any different than the lions and the monkeys and all the different groups of birds. All of them fight. And fight always makes right.
I will allow somebody else to comment on that.
50 people jumping on those strongest guys. And again, might makes right. The 50 people will eventually beat that strongest guy.
I will allow.
But it's the might of 50.
Yeah. I will allow the next. I will allow the next caller or my co-host here this morning to comment on that. I'm holding off from commenting on this one.
I can barely hear you.
I said I will hold off from any additional comment for the time being. Right. All right. Thanks for calling and sharing, man.
No problem.
Blessings to you. All right.
Might makes right.
Yeah. So anyway, Goodell, what's new in these parts of the woods?
Well, what's new is playtime is over. Showtime.
I hear you.
Begins. The races. Let the races begin. So officially, the last day to submit nomination papers is tomorrow.
Yes.
Tuesday.
By 5 o'clock. Yeah.
And I heard the supervisor of elections, Dr. Carolyn Fox, said at one point you had a member of the board who submitted or tried to submit 1 minute after.
And that person was
denied.
Wow. Okay.
So you got to go by the election clock. To be safe, I would suggest everybody submit it by today. I think that would be the best thing.
Well, some people in the past have waited until the last minute to try and get it in. I don't know what's the strategy here, but if you're just playing games with people, but wait until, make sure they would be right there by the door. And maybe at about 2 minutes before the 5 o'clock hour, just step in. So they're in.
I guess they just want it to be a memorable occasion.
Wow. I hear you. We also have a situation where I noticed that lately, VI Consortium have been highlighting, especially gubernatorial tickets, submitting their nomination papers. And I'm saying, what's going on here? All of a sudden, all of this big fanfare about this thing.
I could see why. I believe this is going to be the biggest. This going to be record breaking for number of candidates in the category of gubernatorial team and delegate to Congress. Maybe not so much. I don't know. What's the count so far?
We have had one time we had 34 candidates running.
I know. I remember when Chucky Hansen was number 33.
Yeah,
I don't know what year that is,
yeah,
but we have had had over 30. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see if this is going to be record breaking as far as the senatorial race. And then the two other categories: Board of Elections, Board of Education. We don't get much excitement there.
No.
People don't want to run for those things.
Yeah. So let me ask you then. Blessings. You want to come in? Yeah. Just folks, just somebody visiting. Yes. If you want to come in, you can come in and say hi. Yeah.
Trouble speaking.
Oh, yeah. I know him very well.
From Central High, right?
From the teaching profession.
From elementary, my art teacher.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, I know him from the teaching profession. Butcher is the name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. I don't talk much.
Oh, okay. I hear that. Yeah. But quite a prominent figure around educators, and that's why I know you that well, Just be around.
Yeah, this is your number? Yeah. That's your number?
Yes, that's my number.
I do. I text. If I send a text,
certainly you can send me a text, and
I prefer to do that because it helps with my editing my thoughts and my memory.
Okay.
And I enjoy reading the text.
Okay. So
enlightenment.
Yeah, and certainly, I certainly will appreciate it. That's what I'm all about, getting to hear people's perspective, and we share perspectives. I share mine with you, and then we can see how we can reach common ground in terms of going forward.
You bring up a topic, she knows what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Oh, this is something the students used to call the art room the butcher shop. But when I was back, I had done this pencil drawing.
Yes.
And people kept asking for color. So I colorized this version.
This is
I'm going to start.
This is beautiful, Yeah, and as we say that, two things I've noticed about Virgin Islanders. I should say three things. Where besides academics, they've got a great talent for music, for art, and athletics. Per capita, we're way up there. We here in the Virgin Islands, especially on the island of St. Croix. We've produced great athletes, we've produced great artists, and great musicians.
When you talk about athletes, Tim Duncan, I was his swim coach for the Dolphins swim teach team before he started playing basketball.
I didn't know that.
But, I was born in Harlem, New York.
Yes.
But my father's people were from Trinidad and Barbados. My grandmother's from Martinique.
Yes.
My mother's people are black.
Just hold one quick second. Hold one quick second, my brother. And just hold on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
My mother's people are black Cherokee. And
so you have
coming from Harlem and coming here to St. Croix. This was the first place I had felt like I was in Harlem, and I felt black, comfortable.
Well, Virgin Islanders have a lot of connection to Harlem. Hubert Harrison.
Yes.
And who was it? Was it Hubert Harrison who was involved with the numbers thing?
No, it's not Hubert. You're talking about the one they wrote his name after Caspar
Holstein. So lots of Virgin Islanders.
Mr. Woodson.
Okay.
Is from Harlem.
All right.
And he was the one that hired me in '69.
You imagine. All right.
So I taught Kirby Lane when he was in first grade.
And as you say that, and I was going to tell you, you have every right to speak out.
I'm a born again Christian.
Well,
I mean, Crucian. Born again Crucian.
Because hear me out. You're talking about a background going back to Native American Indians, going back to Africa. I mean, come on.
Caribbean.
Yeah, yeah, come on, come on. So
rich heritage.
Yeah, every right to advocate and to speak on behalf of your people. But you're doing it through art, and that's great.
Oh yeah, that's they could copy, but they can't take that from us.
Right.
We're unique.
Yep.
It's to me coming from a vocational art background because I studied accounting and business administration and marketing before I took an art class. I got my first A in painting, and I changed my major completely to art and education. And when I came here, I came here working in Hess.
You worked in Hess too?
Yeah, I worked in Hess.
You have quite a big background.
And I left Hess and started teaching.
Now you see this? You left Hess, and I bet you Hess might have been paying more than the teaching profession at the time. But you see commitment, dedication, concern, where it's not a matter of what kind of compensation you're getting, but it's a matter of what impact you're going to have in terms of touching lives.
I believe, from my background, that we should be targeting elder students because my little sister used to call me daddy, right? And those elders, we're conditioned to be teachers and guidance. So if we started focusing on those elders in the class in our schools and have that potential, I think
absolutely.
They used to teach us.
Caller, are you there or did you? Wow. Hello, caller. Yeah. What happens that boy, this is just a session of educators. Sorry about it, but I have two educators who have joined me, and we were having some discussion. But anyway, go ahead. Say what you have to say. Welcome aboard, man.
Yes, thank you. Remind me to say something on bullying, but let me first go to the 6th Constitutional Convention. We recently had a passing of Russell, who is an attorney, and I suspect he could have brought a lot of knowledge and clear things up for the 6th Constitutional Convention. You also have a very learned person in the way of, I think we call him the president of it now, Uzi Richards. Yes, and with all of this, we think that he would have been well into the 6th. I don't know exactly what happened. I understand that they asked for more time. I don't know to do what. But what do you think? You think the 6th going anywhere?
I would hope that the process would be completed. And so if folks feel that they need additional time, I'm not against extending time so that we can get it done. Unfortunately, Ronnie was unable to participate fully because of his health situation. Certainly he brought a lot. He could have brought a lot to the table. The process is not as easy as people might think because you have to look at the background and personalities of individuals involved. You do have some younger folk who, of course, there is millennial influence there, so that you have to iron out these things. You've got to weigh the pros and cons of different things being proposed. It's not always easy to just simply cast off what you have had for a number of years, especially when you have people who think in a linear fashion. So it is something that has to be deliberated in a manner where people, they're circumspect, they're succinct in what they're trying to bring across. It's not easy, and so we may want to give them some additional time.
I understand, but how much is enough time? That somebody got to finish down to the certain. Anyway, let me leave that there because my position remains the same. There'll be no 666 or 666. That's my position from what I see happening.
Okay.
Anyway, let me go to another matter quickly. I that I'm not allowed to do in my homeland,
Mm-hmm.
United States or Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly when it comes to black people, black. I don't tell me I got red, white, so much. I say black people. And especially children and the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mentioned before on this and other shows that we were working on many initiatives, one being to let the children relax the cell phone, give it up to the guard in a box at the start of the day, and you'll get it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And it has worked tremendously,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a young black male. It increased his learnability and his focus.
Mm-hmm.
But here, enter caveat, enter the parent. No, I am a kid, I'm what? So we went back up and said, good. And now the children are back, maybe further than they were.
Mm-hmm.
From 2 grade level behind, now they're 3 heading for 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why it is that some of us adults fail to understand. Not that we don't understand, they just don't want to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get up the children wrong. Elected as it is the future.
Mm-hmm.
They is the now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to continue to cut grass from under the foot, then how they're going to be what future?
Mm-hmm. Well,
anyway.
Well, let me share with you that we're trying to put together a discussion, if I may, that will involve teachers and students, if we can succeed in doing that, so that on the program choices on Friday evenings, we can discuss the matter. Because trust me, there may be some legitimate reasons for concern, but we have to balance that against the realities of the times that we're living in and the benefits that children can get from the use or non-usage of the item whilst they're in a classroom.
All right. Now I wasn't listening all the time because I've been in and out of the vehicle. But let me just go quickly to the bullying thing. I believe I heard Mr. Henry, the gentleman they call the physicist, mention, without I getting the full of what he was saying. He said, in order to, like, say, hold or keep a bully down, he has to lose something. I believe this is what I heard.
Sort of like, if you're paraphrasing right, go ahead.
Okay. But let me tell you that what I know a bully has to lose because of my involvement with bullies. Some say I'm a bully. I'm not a bully. A bully guy that shut you up in the mouth quick. Or lick you down with a stick if you humble me up. However, when I was in the 3rd grade, I had a brother in the 1st grade. And he complained to me that this guy was bothering him. The guy was in the same grade as him, fighting him. And the guy was a bully. And I mean, it's not that he didn't know the family because his mother was a nurse before she married his father. I don't know what was wrong with him, but the 3rd or 4th time my younger brother came crying to me, I feel up. It wasn't, I don't know what to call it, it's a terror came in me. And I went there and I started fixing that guy down. He just couldn't get me off him. Okay? And that stopped him. He needed that. He needed to lose a fight so he could stop bullying. It happened a 2nd time in my life when I was a teenager. Some of the guys from what we call around the field in St. Thomas, they sort of grew up without much parental assistance. They were in the street. They used to shine through. My mother wouldn't let me shine shoes. Not that she think it was below me. But we had other jobs that our father would have us do. Like filling up. And he would get paid. You don't need to be the street shining nobody. movies again. To tell you something. One afternoon, I'm sitting by, I'm sure you know where the main post office is,
Mm-hmm.
in what they call Post Office Square.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there, and he came down with his shoe shine back. Started throwing water, I didn't pay no mention to mine. And then he started to come towards me, and he started to swing the box on my head. Again, I don't know where the rubber rounds and if you want to say that got into me. But I started to pump him, and we went right across the street. I know you know where Joe Peterson bar was.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be a
Yeah.
stop right there. I hit him till he fall in the gut. He never been a policeman. He just
Mm-hmm.
got here the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Never been a policeman. So they have to lose a fight in front of the band.
Mm-hmm. But
I am saying that from experience.
yeah,
Those
but
that know better and others they could say better. So I haven't listened.
yeah, but yeah, and I'll comment. Go ahead. Thanks for calling and sharing.
Yeah, okay.
All right, bye. Here is the thing. The whole issue of bullying came up because we were talking about prayer,
Yes.
praying to the Father, and whether there is a need to pray to the Father because the Father knows what our needs are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's how the question of bullying came up when this caller expressed how he dealt with bullies.
He prayed.
No, he stood up to them based upon whatever training he had from home, guidance. He knew what to do. He didn't have to go to his father to ask his father to intervene. I explained to them a scenario where I found I had acted in an unwise fashion. I found myself in a situation where we were at a discotheque and we had some guys who wouldn't allow myself and a couple of guys with me to come out of the discotheque. They were waiting to fight us. And so one of my brothers went home to get my father. It must have been around 11 midnight. Went home, and again, my brother who went home didn't exercise prudence. He didn't wake up my father even. He tried to reach under my father's pillow to get my father's revolver. My father got up, and my father asked him what was happening, and he said that, well, we had this situation at the discotheque where myself and my friends couldn't come out because some guys were waiting to beat us up. And so my father got dressed. He went down to the police station. He got a police officer to come with him. We came down to the discotheque. And the policeman intervened, took care of the situation. We were able to leave to go home. And it happened over a simple, I had a souped up Volkswagen at the time. I had brought him from St. Croix to St. Lucia. I was about maybe like 25, 26. And so it was packed right outside the discotheque, people admiring. And then this girl, I had asked her to dance with me earlier. She turned me down. I came outside, found her leaning on the car, and I said, get off my car. This is my car, get off. And she didn't want to get off. And I said, no, move. I pushed her. So she went to complain to her boyfriend, whatever it was. And so that's how I found myself in that situation, where the guys wanted to beat me up, you know. And I couldn't come out, and my brother now tried to take things in his own hands. So I was trying to point out that sometimes we have to call upon God to give us help, you know. And so this one guy was saying, well, there is no need to pray to God because God has already given us everything. And I was saying that even here on earth with our natural fathers, we have to ask them. And so sometimes as Christians, we have to ask the Father for certain things, you know. Now some may disagree. But I have asked and I have received from the Creator Most High.
I believe in prayers. However, I think some people just take it to the extreme, ritualistic. It doesn't have to be a ceremonial thing. You could be having a conversation with your higher power in your mind. You don't need to actually put your hands together and kneel down.
You wanted to make a point? You wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Because this issue about creation, again, it's beliefs. Nobody can prove the existence of a creator. I personally, I don't believe it. Because the question would be, well, who created the creator? See, I have a different point of view, a bit different perspective.
Well, from my perspective, especially having been raised and nurtured by women.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who my father was, but I'm my own daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, mother of all mothers.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about a man that could preserve or create life.
Mm-hmm.
Mother God
Mm-hmm.
was lonely, so she created Adam.
Mm-hmm.
She saw that Adam needed someone,
Mm-hmm.
so he created Eve.
Mm-hmm.
But evil only comes from God.
Mm-hmm.
So she was trying to create and justify her own misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm. You see, what has happened is that, and of course, we're coming from a Western tradition. In the Western tradition, we believe in one God, a Father. In Eastern tradition and other cultures, they believe in gods and goddesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from the standpoint of nature, it takes a womb, a watery womb, to birth us, male and female alike. So the womb is very important as far as I am concerned, And so the mother, the divine,
Mother Nature,
the divine. There are cultures that speak of the feminine divine. We don't do this in the West. We're not trained that way. But I believe that there is feminine and masculine, personally, and I have a lot of regard for mothers. I think, if we taught our young men to appreciate mothers, to understand what motherhood means, what the womb means, our young males would behave themselves.
I believe if the world treated each other like mothers,
yes,
it'd be a different,
definitely,
a different environment.
Right.
But the fact that we practice on the Western in terms of God, man, no.
Yeah.
The Native Americans, some tribes believe in 5 different genders. See, sex and gender, some people use interchangeably, but they're not the same. You're either biological male if you're normal. Put that in, because sometimes Mother Nature has imperfection. It has hermaphrodite, but you're either born male or female.
Yeah, just 1 quick second, hold on.
But your gender, how you express yourself in this society, it varies. In our society now, we're accepting something called fluidity, where some people don't want to be put in one box. So they say they're fluid. They have fluidity. So it's a spectrum. You can't really box people and say you're 100% homosexual, you're 100% heterosexual, because there's a spectrum there. And again, that's culture. Like I said, with the Native Americans, you study it. They recognize 5 different genders.
Let me say something here. I read the Bible, and I accept the Bible as sacred scripture. Now, in the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 15, when we're presented with a scenario where the Creator Most High is having a discussion with Adam, Eve, and Satan, who's referred to as the serpent. And at that time, when the serpent is addressed, the statement says, I will put enmity between your seed and her seed. And that's powerful, because it doesn't say his seed, referring to Adam. Whereas all along we speak of seed as being sort of like male.
Let's scatter your seeds.
But in this discourse there, it says, I will put enmity between your seed, that is the serpent, and her seed. You hear? And then as we come to have the Messiah later on, we were told that, and some people say that's a fabrication. I'm not going there with that. We're told that Messiah is the seed of woman. That's why the concept of the virgin birth is mentioned. But not the seed of man, but the seed of the woman, in that he's a virgin birth.
But we have to keep in mind, you have the spiritual world and you have the physical world.
True.
And scientists may eventually come up with a womb transplant, and with hormones and stuff, maybe transgenders will be able to produce a child. We never know. It can be imagined. It can come true. Because we never thought about centuries ago. You think those people are thinking about cell phones? I mean,
well, let me share this with you. Let me share this with you right now. There is a prophecy that goes back, I believe in Zechariah, and I don't recall the exact words right now, but it speaks of a scroll and different things, which when you really look at it, it seems like it speaks of satellite technology being prophesied at the time. Now, I mentioned earlier on this program that Satan is referred to as the prince of the power of the air. And the air has to do with radio waves and even
he's male.
The internet that we have today. So
his gender is male.
So hold on. I'm saying that, that clearly there is a corruption of things in the earth today. And we got to be cognizant of that. That's why everything is just going haywire, whether it is from the natural standpoint with hurricanes and pestilence and all of that. And so at some point in time, we're going to have to understand as a species that we have to find ourselves structured and moving in accordance with what was decreed previously, because the corruption has actually corrupted what was put in place originally. So we have a lot of things. Listen, decency. My daughter and I and a couple of people had a discussion recently. We were talking about decency, how we have degenerated into absolute chaos and confusion and lack of proper standards. When you hear what the young people today, the things they're getting into, they don't know because they've not been educated, trained in the right manner. They get into a lot of wrong practices, and that's why some of the health problems we have is because of things we're doing that aren't right. So at some point we have to be able to draw some lines of definition.
Well, definitely, but you have to respect the law, scientific law, or law of nature. If you jump from a 10-story building, you're going down because there's something called gravity.
Yeah. Although somebody told me.
So you can't defy, you cannot defy scientific laws.
Right. Interesting. Although someone told me that what we think is gravity is not. I'm not a scientist, but this guy
it's a force. Gravity is a force.
He said it is it's pressure from the atmosphere upon us that forces us down, and we think it's gravity. And he says the reason why you don't have gravity on the moon is because the moon doesn't have an atmosphere. We'll get into that. But
that's his theory.
Yeah. Hello, caller. Let me hear you quickly.
Yeah, John, quickly, because time running. We had I don't know what some politicians will be thinking. In the state of Florida, a company came up with a system, detection system around school zones that can measure the speed with which, people jamming through a school zone. School zones are normally 15, 20 miles per
You can
hour.
text me, brother. Send your text. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have clocked up to the lowest one above the speed limit was 43. There was up to 65 miles per hour zooming through a school zone. Now look what happened. Because I suspect the company that sold this, or that installed this thing, were making money, but making money for who? Or making money for the government. The government makes several $1 million in $100 fine. But them and those that didn't like that determined that they are going to challenge it. And challenge it is this, on technicality. Technicality, we have to tell you, if a son and son that just said judge out, the smart attorney will turn it upside down. Okay? And the technicality was that the state of Florida did not approve the slip statute. All those folks that had $100 fine had to get their money back. And let me tell you something, the bedlam now to the school zone. Some children want to go to school, they're running and scampering out the car's way. Now you tell me what sense that makes, because I can't get it understand. I mean, where's higher power? The government could have done something. Don't say, well, the judge might backside. What judge? Judge is a man. He could make mistakes too.
And so
then we will have children run over everything in the street like dogs. You don't run them dogs anymore. You run them children. But that's a rest my case. Get home safely, my brother.
All right. Thanks for calling and sharing. You stay strong. Keep the faith. Bye.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Survival of the fittest.
I don't know if it is just survival of the fittest. We are going through.
Eliminated.
Yeah, let me just say this here. What's happening with it is that, and I wanted to say that earlier, the world today is in a state of flux, if I may. There is so much happening, so much going on in terms of new developments, in terms of a shift which is taking place. And people must understand that this is not just all physical. Yes, it's a physical world that we experience through the senses and not just us as humans, because the animals experience the world in similar fashion. They've got a nervous system. They have
they communicate with each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have the five senses that we have. They have that. I have.
And they got senses that we don't have.
Yeah,
we don't know when an earthquake is coming. They could tell.
Not only that. Not only that. Vision. Some animals have vision that they see forms and that we don't see. So that we don't see the world, the physical world, the same way in which some animals see the physical world. What they can see, we cannot see sometimes.
Right.
And so we have to understand that. When people dismiss the animals lightly, I don't do that. I don't do that because I've learned a lot from the pets that I have at home. My pets show me compassion. They show me love. They understand me. When I say to my cats, come, they know what come means. When there's one I call Big Lion. When Big Lion jumps on a stool by the bar and I say, get down, he knows what that means.
And then some are not bilingual. They understand both Spanish and English.
Come on.
Some are multilingual.
Yeah, the persons who have animals that they've been speaking to in Spanish, the animals understand that.
Yeah.
And so I tell people that, don't just dismiss the animals. They have a right to be here just as we have a right to be here. What happens is that we have to understand the dominion given to us and the obligations that we have. Hello, caller, good day and welcome. Hello? Caller, are you there? All right, try calling again. Yeah, so, we've got to understand how we put these things in perspective. And that's why I tell people that I try to see good in everybody I come into contact with. I don't feel myself better than anyone. I try to see a reflection of myself in the people that I encounter. And if I see things in people that I don't like, I try to look at myself and to see if for any reason I am projecting that kind of behavior. Because you spoke about karma. Sometimes what we put out is what we get. If people approach me with hatred, I want to check myself to see if I have shown hatred to others as to why I'm receiving that. You follow what I'm saying to you? There's a line in the Bible that says the countenance of one man brighteneth another. iron sharpens iron, so that in people around us, we sometimes see a reflection of ourselves.
Communication is the key to creating a good relationship with anyone. Because, I've been on a campaign trail, not the political one, educational. I'm trying to find out why some people don't wish to vote, why they don't participate in the process. And one of the things I get a lot, the government don't do nothing for me. I'm thinking, you're thinking in a selfish way. You have to think, what is the government supposed to do for us, not you on an individual basis. So I've been doing my part with civic education, or the other one is the same people getting elected. Well, what do you expect? The same people going to vote. And those who have a base, probably their supporters are going to be the same, unless they do something drastic to change their minds. But if they have faith in that particular senator, they probably keep on voting the same way, unless they do something that, like I said, will violate their sense of security and honesty.
Yeah, we have not taught civics in the schools as we should have. That's one. There's a law of 50% plus one. And that tells us that one vote
makes a difference.
Make a difference.
That's in the Revised Organic Act of 1954. Right. Speaking about the Constitution, I just today, I went on a radio show to explain, because there's some folks who believe if the Revised Organic Act is adopted, we're locked into it. And I explained, no, that we unlocking. We want to be able to, the people of the Virgin Islands of the United States, to make amendments. And then I think, oh, well, it's a colonial document. And I'm like, okay, the U.S. Constitution is one of the most colonial documents I could think of, but it's one of the most copied, used as for others countries to form their constitution. Yes, it's colonial in the sense that when it was drafted, then you had 13 colonies, which became states. But here we are today, we have 50 states. So it's over a period of time, you make changes, you adjust according to the era that you live in. When it was written, you think those people imagined in the 21st century what it would be like? You think they thought, hey, a black person would be president of the United States? No. They locked into this time. And that's why I do like reading the Bible. But that's how they lived then. It gives you a glimpse into Asian civilization and the values those people had, the kind of culture. And at that point, slavery was acceptable. Slavery was once legal in America. And now we come today, we see enslaving a human being. You wonder how any human being could think that's okay. So I do like reading the Bible because some things are applicable today. Do unto others as you would like done unto you.
And having said that, let me just share something with you and those who are listening. There are several young people I have stood up for, giving them an opportunity. And I remember a couple of cases where they came back, 2 cases in particular, thanked me for what I did, especially in terms of co-signing loan applications. One guy in particular told me how even family members he had gone to turned him down. They talk about having been birthed, so they ain't taking chances with nobody. And I gave them a chance. And so they were able to go forward. So when it comes to voting, even though you've been disappointed with those who were there before, that doesn't mean that we should shut the door on others who come to ask you for a chance. So
all of us together, collectively, we could make the Virgin Islands of the United States a better place.
Right, definitely. Yeah. All right. We've come full circle this morning. I want to thank those who called in and participated. I want to sign off by saying to you all, stay strong, keep the faith, give thanks and praises unto the Most High, and then we'll reconnect at the appropriate time. Bye.